In this lesson, we're going to check out the key steps of risotto making while we'll prepare a saffron risotto. Risotto is my safe dish, and I often cook it for hundreds of guests during my events. Mastering these key simple steps will make you realize how easy it is to control a risotto without the need of pre-cooking it, and will also give you good insight on how to create multiple recipes that will all fall under these key steps. As everything else in the kitchen, preparation is crucial, so make sure your mise en place is done and everything is within reach when you're about to start cooking your risotto. Now let's start by sautéing our aromatic. I have a heavy bottom pan here on a medium heat. I'm going to add olive oil to it. I'm going here with a little knob of butter too. Once the butter is melted, I'm going to add in the finely diced shallots and season with a pinch of salt so that all the juices are released. You want to cook this on medium heat for about 5 to 10 minutes until they're soft, fragrant and translucent, but you need to make sure they don't brown. Now that it's been about 5 minutes, the shallots are ready and it's time to move to the next step, the so important tostatura of the rice, the toasting. The traditional method wants you to add rice to this pot, but I'm going to show you a slightly different method that I learned during my training here in restaurant. I prepare my aromatics in a separate pot and I dry toast the rice directly on a pan. I do this on low heat for longer time as the oil is a heat conductor and can burn the surface of your grains, but most importantly the shallots and onion. I want the heat to reach the core of each rice grain, and this will help you ensure your rice stays al dente when you get to the end of the cooking process. Toasting is so crucial for risotto making. It will ensure uniform texture, making liquid absorption slower. And as a plus side, it will also give a nice nutty flavor to your risotto. This step usually takes about 10 minutes, but keep in mind, larger quantities require longer toasting time. Remember, you cannot do this step ahead of time. When the rice is ready and it's hot, you can't wait any longer. It's time to put the liquid in and get to the next step of the cooking process. At this stage, it's time to pour the wine in. We let the alcohol evaporate and we stir it until all the wine is absorbed. Now that all the wine has evaporated, it's time to add the simmery stock, as you don't want the temperature to drop. Now is when you want to set your cooking time to about 16 to 18 minutes, depending on the grain you're using. And you need to make sure that you add your stock a ladle at a time, always keeping the rice well covered. For the first few minutes, you can allow the bubbling stock to mix the rice for you, but do not go away, stay on top of it. Make sure the stock is absorbed before you add more. And remember to maintain a gentle simmer, as you don't want to boil the rice. It is true that risotto needs attention and care, and you have to mix it often, but remember, do not do this with too much energy or you can break the grains, resulting in a gluey risotto. It's usually at this stage that I add my cooked shallots. A little trick I use in my kitchen. We always pre-make onion puree or shallot puree. We froze it in cubes and we just chuck it into the risotto when we're cooking. Now we want to think about adds-on. What will make this risotto special? How can we elevate it? We're making saffron risotto or risotto alla milanese. So I'm going to take my saffron and I'm going to soak them into the hot stock. You want this to sit for a couple of minutes into the hot broth, and then you just simply pour it into risotto. I'm going to keep cooking and gently stir it for the next few minutes until I feel it's time to be on it again. I'm quite happy about making this risotto because I'm using saffron from my own region, which is Abruzzo. Now I'm going to keep stirring and add the stock as I go for the next few minutes until I feel it's ready. As the risotto was cooking, the saffron gave more flavor and color to it. Now the time is up. I want you to taste your risotto. I'm happy with al dente texture, but if you want to cook it for slightly longer, you can. When you are happy with the texture of your risotto, it's important for next step, the mantecatura, that you remove it from the heat. This is another important step of risotto making. Mantecatura is not just about adding butter and cheese to it, but it's also about creating an emotion with the right gesture, increasing the ooziness of your risotto. I'm adding cold butter as the temperature difference will help emulsify the risotto. Then I'm going in with grated cheese. And a little personal preference, I always like to add a last drop of wine to the risotto to give it more acidity, but also a grown-up flavor if you want. Now it's time to mix. If your risotto looks dry, you can still add some liquid to it. And remember to stir it gently and don't beat it. You don't want to break the grains. These movements will help to emulsify the fats and the liquid into the risotto to give a nice glossy finish to it. You know the mantecatura is over when the risotto is nice, creamy and glossy. There's still time at this stage to adjust the seasoning before you plate it up. And now it's time to plate up. Many people will tell you that risottos belong on a flat plate, but my personal preference is to use a little bowl so it stays cozy and warm. I'm gonna garnish with a few herbs I have, but this isn't essential. We just simply make it look smarter. And here we have it, our saffron risotto. I really hope that these techniques will help you create more risotto recipes, as you will see later in the class.